नमस्ते नेपाल, नमस्ते एभ्रिबडी। आज पनि म तपाईँहरूलाई एउटा राम्रो युनिभर्सिटी लिएर आइपुगेको छु र मलाई लाग्छ तपाईँहरूले चाहिँ एप्लिकेसन्स प्रोसेसहरू जेनेरिक लागि गरिराख्नु भएको छ। Good morning, everyone, and namaste. And this is me, Pawan Bista, back again with you from California. And my colleagues, as you can see on the screen, are from Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm sure, many of us are familiar about this lovely state. And I would say, the Constitution, I think, was first, um, I think, emancipated, or I don't know, the Constitution help me, Michael, the first Constitution state or something about Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we are the Constitution state. I think the Constitution was forged in Philadelphia on the other side of the state from us. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, pardon me if I'm speaking like something not that much related, but I believe this is all about the U.S. and the Constitution, and I think students are gonna study about the Constitution, American history, all these things. So I think it helps. And just to let you know, geographically, it's very close to New York. So you can drive to New York in just a few hours. So Duquesne is located in a very prime location, and people are very happy. Students, I could see the YouTube videos as well, and some sort of materials that Michael and your team shared with me the other day. So I'm very excited to have our students choose and continue their studies at Duquesne. So, guys, this is about Duquesne University in Pennsylvania, and they got lots of programs at both undergrad as well as graduate levels. And we got to hear more about Duquesne University from our lovely guests today, Michael, Sarah, and Edward. So I'll let you introduce yourself from Michael, please.
Sure. Namaste, everyone. My name is Mike Burke. I am the Director of International Student Services at Duquesne University.
Great. Ed?
Namaste, everyone. My name is Edward Muldoon. You can call me Ed, and I'm the Manager for International Recruitment at Duquesne University.
Sarah?
Hello, everyone. Namaste. My name is Sarah Souza, and I am the Assistant Director for International Admissions here at Duquesne University.
Great. Thank you for your short and sweet and lovely introduction to our viewers. Yeah, dear viewers, as you're watching us live, yes, you can you can ask any questions you may have regarding your study plans in the U.S. And U.S. visas are, going up. The application number also, increased. There are pools of application. I believe you guys are very busy, and I must appreciate your time today. And this would definitely going to help our prospective students. All right. With this short introduction, I would just want to have some word from you, Michael, and then we'll do the presentation.
Sure. So what we'll do is we'll run through a little presentation here about Duquesne. It usually takes me about 30 minutes to run through it. I'll start off with a small video that will give you a little feel for our campus and the city we're located in, and then we'll talk a little bit more about details. So we'll talk about academic programs, we'll talk about admission requirements at both the undergraduate and postgraduate level, we'll talk about tuition fees and scholarships, and we'll end it with just about the application process.
Absolutely. That would be wonderful. And I believe, Michael, you have been to Nepal a couple of times. So what's your experience like?
Yeah, I've been to Nepal many times, actually. My experience has always been good. I've spent time in Kathmandu, but really I spent a lot of time in Pokhara, to be honest. And I've done the ride across the Himalayas from Kathmandu out to Pokhara. And yeah, I've been to Nepal, I think around 10 times now. And so wow. There must be something I like about it, right? I was living in the Emirates for a long time, and Nepal was always a nice getaway from the Emirates for us, and myself and my family.
Yeah, thank you for saying about your visits to Nepal, and 10 times. It's not a joke. You love our country, and thanks for that feelings. And we love to welcome you and all of you, Ada and Sarah, in the future as well. And our students would love it. Our students would love to have you, and then surround even like talk about their studies and the schools and colleges there. So today, yeah, it's really gonna be exciting. I see like some of the questions being asked already on the comment box. Yeah, dear viewers, please feel free to ask your questions here. This is a great university in Pennsylvania, and I have this pleasure to have our guest, Michael, Sarah, and Ed on this session today. And here we start our, so Michael, if you're ready, I can pull out that
Yes.
slide for you here.
I'm ready. Okay, so thanks everyone. And like I said, we're going to start off with just a small video because I think we'll give you, I can talk and talk and talk, but seeing the images, I think will give you a good feel for, like I said, our campus and the city we're located in. The video only lasts about a minute and 40 seconds, so no need to run out and make any popcorn. Okay, so how I usually start off my presentation, everyone, is I know that spelling is a little funny, but it's pronounced Duquesne. So it's Duquesne University. We are a private Catholic university. We are a research university, and we were founded in 1878. So for the US, we've been around for a little while. Overall, we're ranked number 143 by US News and World Report out of 1,400 US institutions. US News and World Report also ranks us as number 51 in terms of best value. And that's really directly related to the fact that we are a private research university. We do have pathway programs at both the undergraduate and graduate level. We have 50 STEM eligible programs. The city we're located in, we think, is a real selling point, and I'll circle back around on that in some ensuing slides. At the undergraduate level, we scholarship all international students somewhere in the range of $9,000 to $26,000 a year. And at the graduate level, while we don't directly scholarship at the graduate level, we do currently have 24 different programs that are offering a 25% tuition scholarship, as well as graduate assistantships. So just a few more rankings. As you can tell, our healthcare programs are ranked very high. Occupational therapy, our pharmacy program is ranked very high. We have a nursing program. We also have a graduate law school here, and Kiplinger's ranks us as number 96 in terms of best private universities in the US. So in terms of the United States, we are a medium-sized university. We have about 10,000 students, 2/3 of which are undergrads. We have about 600 internationals. I think another real selling point for Duquesne is our student-to-faculty ratio. We're at 14:1. So in general, when students come to Duquesne, they will not be sitting in, large auditorium classrooms with 100 other students. Class sizes usually are around anywhere between 15 to 22. Professors actually teach the classes. They are easily accessible by the students, and professors usually know the students by name. So it's a very intimate learning environment here at Duquesne. We do have 10 schools of study, and we offer 80 undergraduate degree programs and more than 85 master's, doctoral, and professional programs. So let's talk a little bit about living in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is often called America's most livable city, and we'll get into a little bit about that, but I do believe that our location is a big selling point for the university. So we are located in the northeast part of the United States, in the state of Pennsylvania. We're about halfway between New York and Chicago. Those other major metropolitan areas you see there, such as Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, Chicago, and New York, all about an hour to an hour and a half flight away, so very accessible. With that said, I think Pittsburgh offers 3 distinct advantages, especially for international students. One is we're a little smaller than those other major metropolitan areas, so we tend to be a little easier to navigate. In addition, we also have a lower crime rate and a lower cost of living. So we tend to be a little bit more affordable and a little bit safer than those other cities. However, as Pawan mentioned earlier, those cities are very easily accessible. In fact, students sometimes on the weekend will drive to New York City from Pittsburgh to spend the weekend. Okay, so the picture on the left is a picture of our campus, and the picture on the right is a picture of Pittsburgh, and the arrow is pointing out our exact location within the city. So we are an urban campus. However, with that said, when students are on campus, they don't necessarily feel like they're in the city. It's a very verdant setting, a park-like setting, and students, however, if students do want to venture into the city to see a show, to attend a professional sporting event, or just simply to have dinner at a restaurant, that's all within walking distance, and students do walk around the city. A couple other facts about Pittsburgh. We are very much a college town. So we have about 12 universities in and around the Pittsburgh area. The 3 big universities in Pittsburgh are Carnegie Mellon University, the University of Pittsburgh, and Duquesne University, and those are all located within a 3-mile corridor. Overall, the international student population in Pittsburgh is just around 10,000. So lots of college students, lots of international students. And finally, the other thing I would tell you before I switch on slides would be that we are very much a post-industrial success story. So Pittsburgh really made its name through manufacturing, steel making, but that all went away about 50 years ago. And today, the big 3 employers in Pittsburgh are technology, healthcare, and education. So instead of factories, now we have, Duolingo is headquartered here. We have a Google campus in Pittsburgh. Uber is also headquartered here and currently working on the autonomous car. And 3 of the top 10 robotics companies are also located right here in Pittsburgh. And in fact, the images we're seeing sent back from Mars, from the robot there, that robot was built right here in Pittsburgh. In fact, we are the number 3 STEM city in the US right now per capita. And that really comes into play for students that are studying STEM degrees, whether they want to take advantage of CPT or postgraduate OPT opportunities. Those opportunities are right here in Pittsburgh, and Duquesne has connections with those firms as well. Just in terms of affordability, a 3-bedroom apartment in Pittsburgh is about $1,250 a month. And just once again, the picture on the left will give you another little feel for campus, picture of campus looking back onto the city. Okay, so life on campus, we do have 7 different, we don't call them dormitories, we call them living learning centers, because this is where students, not only sleep, but they also get together to study, eat, work on projects, or even socialize. We do require that undergraduates live on campus for the first 2 years. We have more than 200 student organizations, so we have an organization for anybody's interest. Our recreation center is brand new. We call it the Power Center, and it's brand new, state of the art. And just in terms of safety, we also have our own police department here as well. So most buildings are slide card access only. So although we are a Metro campus, once again, very safe here. In terms of eating, 11 different dining locations. Whether you're vegetarian, vegan, there'll be something here for almost any type of dietary preference. Okay, so let's move on to academic schools of study. We do have 10 different areas of, or 10 different schools of academic study, and we have internationals enrolled across all 10 schools. However, I would say it's 3 areas that really draw internationals to Duquesne, and that would be business, health and medical related programs, and technology programs. So when we look at undergraduate programs with very high international enrollment, we're looking at things like biochemistry, information systems management, BME, or computer science. And as you can see, 4 of those 5 are STEM designated. And the same holds true at the postgraduate level as well. Of our 5 programs, of our 5 postgraduate programs with the highest international enrollment, all 5 programs are STEM designated. So while we do have internationals enrolled across all 10 schools, there's no doubt that STEM designated programs are really driving international enrollment currently at Duquesne. And once again, I think that's directly related to the city we're located in as well. I really hate to say that anything positive has come out of the pandemic, but the fact is that since the pandemic, we have seen a considerable uptick in applications both on the domestic and international side to allied health programs. So at the undergraduate level, public health, health sciences, health administration, and biomedical engineering have all become very popular over the last couple of years. And even at the graduate level, the health administration, the biomedical engineering, and then, master's or doctorate programs in occupational therapy, physical therapy, or athletic training have also, we've seen a real uptick in applications in those programs. Probably one of the very best programs we have here at Duquesne is our School of Pharmacy. Our School of Pharmacy is ranked number 43 overall by U.S. News and World Report and number 3 among private schools. Probably the most popular program with internationals there is the 6-year PharmD program. Once again, it's STEM designated. Students come in as freshmen. They'll do 2 years of pre-professional coursework, and then they will take their PharmCat. After passing their PharmCat, they will move on to their 4 years of professional work. One of those years will be spent in a professional setting. I'm fond of telling people that usually our pharmacy graduates don't look for jobs. They're usually hired before they graduate, and that is a fact. Starting salary last year for PharmD graduates was about $135,000 US. Okay, so let's look at some admission requirements, and we'll start at the undergraduate level. So at the undergraduate level, we're looking for a 3.0 GPA. That's on a 4 scale, but we will give consideration to everything 2.5 and above. In terms of English language proficiency, we're looking for a 6 on the IELTS. At the undergraduate level, we'll also accept TOEFL, Duolingo, and the PTE as well. 1 letter of recommendation, the personal statement, which is important, and I'm going to circle back around in a few slides down the road here. In general, SATs are not required for international undergraduates. There are some programs that might ask you for it, but generally across the board, no SAT requirement for international undergraduate applicants. As well, there is no application fee as well for international applicants. The essay, as I said, is important. We emphasize to both students and our in-market representatives as well. Please do not give us a generic essay. The essay should be crafted specifically for Duquesne University, and these are some of the questions that you see on the screen that you should be that the applicant should be thinking about in crafting their statement of purpose. In general, what I tell people is you should really be looking at three things. Why did you choose Duquesne? Why did you choose your current field of study? And once you get your degree, how are you going to make your community, your country, the world a better place? Those are the kind of ideals they're looking for. And like I said, please do not give us a generic essay. We read every essay. It's not just a checklist item. We read it for two purposes. We read it for in terms of admission, and we also read it in terms for scholarshiping students. So it's important, and it should be unique. Tuition and fees at the undergraduate level. In general, it's about $43,000 a year in tuition. The housing and meal plan run about $14,000. Students should also expect to spend another $4,500 on incidentals, such as health insurance, books, and supplies. And as I said, we do scholarship between $9,000 and $26,000 a year. And that sort of always begs the question, well, who's getting 9 and who's getting 26? So what we look at in making that determination is we'll look at the student's GPA. We'll look at whatever test scores are submitted, whether that be language scores or high school exit exam scores, or if they happen to have an SAT and it's a good score, they should submit it as well. Following that, we sort of look at the student a little more holistically. So we'll look closely at what extracurricular and volunteer activities the student has been involved in. We'll look at their volunteer activities. We'll look at their letters of recommendation closely. And as I said previously, we look at the essay very closely as well. Just for your information, in terms of the Gateway program, and I'll circle back to that as well. These are the costs associated with the Gateway program. In general, probably the takeaway from there is that ESL courses at Duquesne run about 1/3 the cost of an academic course. Okay, so just a little bit about the pathway structure at the undergraduate level. One thing that we have done that we have found to be successful is we do not isolate students, conditional admits, in our ESL program. So our ESL program is in-house. We do not outsource that to a third party, and we think that makes that transition much better into their academic studies. So just for instance, a student that would come in with a 5.5 IELTS needing a 6, that student should expect to spend 1 semester in the Gateway program. But as I said, we will not isolate that student in ESL. We allow them to also take an academic course or two along the way. And what we have found there is that one, students are happy to be gaining academic credit while they're polishing off their English. And we find that when students are sitting in a regular class with other domestic students, they come to the realization of just exactly where their English is. And I think they take their ESL classes more seriously. And the flip side is we have ESL staff there to support those students in their academic coursework as well. Maybe just a final word about the pathway program at the undergraduate level. Students are expected to pass their ESL courses with a C. Once they've completed their program, they are fully admitted. Students that are coming in conditionally through the pathway or the Gateway program, their academic program will be listed on the I-20 as primary, and the ESL courses will be listed as secondary. And finally, what I would tell you is that once we sort of stamp the approval and that student has passed the courses, we will not require them to go out and get that TOEFL or IELTS score. If they pass the coursework, they will matriculate into full-time academic coursework. Okay, so let's move on to the postgraduate level. At the postgraduate level, once again, a 3.0 GPA. At the postgraduate level, I would say you should feel secure in sending 2.75 and above. will also require a resume at the postgraduate level. GREs and GMATs for most programs, but not all programs. A 6.5 or a 7 IELTS at the postgraduate level. The School of Business will want a 7, and healthcare programs that have clinicals involved will also require a 7 as well. We need 3 letters of recommendation at the postgraduate level. The personal statement is a little bit different. They'll be asked to respond to a specific prompt, and credential evaluation is required at the postgraduate level. We do have an agreement with Spantran currently that we have a partnership with. So we can talk a little bit more about that in the question and answer part, but that is something new, something that we did sort of fight against, but we were not able to win that. And so credential evaluation at the postgraduate level required. Just an example of a typical postgraduate essay prompt. So the Graduate Business School, people or students applying to the MBA program will be asked to respond to a 2-part prompt. The first part will ask them to talk about their academic and professional background. And then in the second part, they might be asked to, how their degree is going to contribute to their goal, as a student and eventually as an alum. And, obviously, make their community or their country a better place. Okay, postgraduate fees. Because postgraduate programs tend to vary in terms of structure and duration, so does the tuition. So anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000 a year at the postgraduate level. In terms of housing and the I-20, we will list the on-campus housing and meal plan cost. However, the realistic cost is probably, the reality of it is most graduate students tend to live off campus. And I would say a realistic number for living off campus in the city of Pittsburgh for both housing and meals is probably closer to around $9,000. If graduate students do decide they want to live on campus, we do have a separate dorm that we have dedicated to graduate students. So as I said, we do not scholarship directly at the graduate level, but we do have 24 different programs that are offering a 25% tuition scholarship. There is no extra application for that. If the student is accepted into one of these programs, they will automatically receive that discounted rate. And as you can see, probably once again, it's those STEM programs, the biotechnology, the environmental science and management, the instructional technology, computational math, which is really our version of data science, and the MFA. Those are programs that tend to be quite popular within this group in terms of international enrollment. Just a few price points that we know are attractive to internationals based on enrollment: the computer science program and the analytics and information management program, both STEM designated, both 30 credit degree programs, 2-year programs, both priced under $15,000 a year. The professional MBA, the data science, and the biotechnology all have the 25% tuition scholarship, and all come in at under $20,000 a year. Okay, so the pathway program at the graduate level is a little bit different than it is at the undergraduate level. Pathway at the undergraduate level is comprehensive and covers all programs. At the graduate level, we have 10 participating programs, and these are those 10 programs. So if you have a student that is academically admissible, but maybe is lacking just slightly in their English language proficiency score, these would be the 10 programs that they would be able to apply to and receive a conditional admission. And once again, we do not cocoon students in ESL programs or isolate them in ESL programs, whether they're doing the 3-semester plan or the 2-semester plan. They will be taking academic coursework along the way and gaining credit towards their degree. Okay, so a little bit about English testing waivers, which we do have. So this is part of the application. The student would check. There's a checkbox on the application for a request for this. So at the undergraduate level, if the student attended 4 years of high school, taught in English at an accredited institution, that student would be eligible for an IELTS or TOEFL waiver. At the graduate level, if they've done 4 years of undergraduate coursework in English at an accredited institution, or 2 years of graduate coursework at an English accredited or in English at an accredited university, those students would be eligible for English language proficiency waivers. With that said, I will tell you that the burden of proof is very much upon the student. The student cannot simply say that, oh, yes, my high school was English medium of instruction. That needs to be either appear on the transcript, appear in a separate letter from the institution, or be able to point us to a website where that is indicated at. But yeah, so we are willing to waive, but like I said, the burden of proof is very much upon the student. GREs and GMATs as well for the School of Business, it is possible to waive out of it. So if in the School of Business, if the applicant is looking at the professional MBA or the sustainable business practices, supply chain management, or the AIM program, if that student has 3 or more years of full-time professional work experience related to business, that student would be able to waive out of the GRE or GMAT requirement. Currently, computer science, which probably has our highest international enrollment at the graduate level, does not require a GRE or GMAT requirement. Finally, the last thing I would say to you is people are often trying to peg me down on, well, what's the score? What is the minimum score? The university and graduate programs do not really give an exact score. They'll say competitive. And what I tend to tell both in-market representatives and students is admission decisions or admission denials are rarely based solely on GRE or GMAT scores. It's much more of a checklist item. Programs that are requiring it want to see that the student had the wherewithal to be able to go through it. But as I said, rarely are admission or rejection decisions based solely on GRE or GMAT scores.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so just in terms of the application portal, so students would log on to apply.duq.edu/apply, and they would, first-time users would create an account to start a new application. We utilize the Slate system here at Duquesne, and following that, so once the student would upload all their documents to that application portal. Once that was completed, what we would require is for the agent to write directly to us and indicate to us that, oh, this student is from either, from your institution or from your agency, and that way we can mark it in our system, and that will follow that student throughout their academic career here and make it very easy for us to track that student.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in terms of proof of financial support, before I get to that, what I can tell you is in terms of turnaround time on undergraduate applications, we control that process in my office. So once we get a completed application, our turnaround time is going to be anywhere from 2 to 3 days between until we make an admission decision and issue the admission letter. Once that admission letter is issued, that triggers the request for financial documents and the proof of financial support. Once we receive that proof of financial support, our goal is 48-hour turnaround to the issuing of the I-20. At the graduate level, unfortunately, we do not control that process. So turnaround time could be a little bit longer at the graduate level. As I said, we do not control that process, but if you have a student that seems to be held up a little bit along the way there, please reach out to us and we will advocate for that student. We will reach out to the graduate department and advocate for that student, or at least find out what the holdup exactly is.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in terms of student outcome, 70% of our recent graduates are professionally employed, and the great majority of those are working in a field directly related to their major. Another 30% go on to graduate schools in areas such as health science, education, law, and other graduate programs. At Duquesne, we sort of pride ourselves on not ending the process when we hand the student a diploma. We think we're very good at placement as well. So whether that's domestic students looking for full-time employment or international students looking for postgraduate OPT opportunities, we will walk them through that process. We have an immigration advisor in our office. We have an immigration lawyer on retainer, and that process became slightly more complicated under our previous administration, but we will walk students through that process. And then in terms of placement, our Career Development Center, which is ideally, it's located right across the hall from us. They have staff specifically designated to work with international students. We run 2 job fairs a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. In the fall, we usually bring in about 60 employers, and in the spring, we usually bring in about 80 employers. The firms and companies that you see on this list right here are all local companies with a local presence outside of ESPN, which is about an hour and a half flight away from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in terms of deadlines, application deadlines, we do have 3 intakes a year: summer, fall, and spring. The summer deadline is around April 1st. The fall deadline is around June 15th, and the spring deadline is around November 15th. In general, we work on a rolling admissions process here, so we will accept as we receive applications. There are a few programs that will not operate that way, and they tend to be more of the high-end programs such as nursing, pharmacy, and maybe some of the allied health programs as well, where they will have a deadline where they will issue all their admissions at one specific date. Okay, so I know I went through that very quickly. Thanks so much for listening, and I'm open for any questions that you might have right now. If you do have questions following this, or you need to contact us directly, Sarah Souza will be our direct contact, and her email is there in the bottom left-hand corner, and she will be glad to answer any questions you might have or help with any processes that you might need. So, Juan, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm more than willing to answer any questions that might be out there right now.
Yeah, that was so wonderful, Michael. Lovely presentation, and I guess all our viewers received it, and you got many programs detailed in terms of their application process, the fee structure, the entry requirements, and so many things, and definitely it's going to help us all, the students, when they have all this information. Of course, it becomes easier for us as your approved agency, and so does with your admissions office at SARA's and at AID's office, and of course the process will not take longer to get through, like getting the I-20 or getting the admission decision. Definitely it's gonna help, because once you know all the details on hand, and then it's good to apply, and then it doesn't take long for you to get a decision. So I believe this is the purpose of this session as well, and you have presented it so well. Thank you so much, Michael. I would like to go to Sarah. So before I take the questions here, I can see some of the questions here already. How long are you taking, your office taking to process the I-20s at this point? Than the normal time, let's say pre-pandemic times?
Our processing remains quick, I think, comparatively, because it's done in our office, which is a great advantage to Duquesne. I think the more delay is related to the when it leaves our hands. Michael, do you want to speak more on that?
Sure, no problem. Pawan, what I would say right now is that, yeah, I would have to agree that maybe, as during the pandemic and maybe as we're coming out of it, that I-20 times were a little bit delayed and beyond what we would normally have. And that's really has to do with just the sheer, processing of, resubmitting I-20s for people that have deferred or people that have changed their intake time. And so, that was something that pre-pandemic rarely existed. They would be one-offs, in those situations. But unfortunately, that has become part of the norm right now as students, struggle to get embassy appointments and attain their F1 visas. It's created a little bit of a backload, but I see us coming out of it right now, to be honest. We have, for spring, we have 54 currently deferred students. And so that was, a big group of students that we had to issue new I-20s to, that sort of bogged us down a little bit. But we do have in our office right now, we currently have 4 DSOs. So I don't envision, I envision, as I said, 48-hour turnaround is our goal once we receive sufficient financials.
Absolutely. I know, most of the universities here in the United States at this point are super busy with lots of application coming through. So this is the effect of post-pandemic and all. So we request all our students who've been waiting for the I-20s or who are thinking about processing to Duquesne to have some little passions, but office at Michael, Sarah, and Aid, they would be, doing their best to get a decision for you. But they are very good to work with for us as well, and for you as an institution. Your, next home, that would be your great experience. As I hear a lot about your university, Michael, there are so many things I could add.
I just wanted to add one more thing, if I could.
Sure.
So one thing I didn't touch upon is, as far as enrollment deposits, at the undergraduate level, that enrollment deposit is $500. At the graduate level, that enrollment deposit is $250. This is not an extra fee. That will go towards the tuition. And the reason I bring it up is because we will issue the I-20 prior to the enrollment deposit at Duquesne. However, so why is the enrollment deposit important? Because we will not guarantee your seat until the enrollment deposit is made, especially in competitive programs. We might accept you, but that seat is really not guaranteed until we get the enrollment deposit.
Okay, glad that you brought it up. So, we know the process better. So that deposit is paid after they receive the I-20 and get a visa, or what is it like, or before I-20?
Yeah. So the reality of the situation is, in a perfect world, that deposit would be paid as soon as the student received admission. However, we are realists here. We know that internationals like to wait until they get their visa in hand,
right?
Until they make that deposit, and we totally understand that. And but what I will tell you is that with the enrollment deposit, if the student is denied their visa, that deposit is refundable. We will refund that deposit if the student is denied their visa.
Yeah, because our market is very price sensitive, and also the practice by most of the schools here in the market is a few of them only require the deposits like you were mentioning about. But if you could consider having a deposit paid only after they secure the visa, but before they apply it, that would be a lot helpful. And in the mean, not just the deposit they will be paying, but they will be paying a semester fee. That's been our case. So, if it is something that you could consider and help our students, that would be appreciated as well.
Sure.
Right. Thanks, Michael, on that. So next question here about the scholarship, Aid or Sarah, you want to. By the way, thanks, Manju, for that question about application processing time. And now, Bizay, for 100% scholarship. I'm not sure, if you got 100% scholarship offer here at Duquesne, but you could try for some scholarship. Like I could see on the station on one of the slides, 25% or so they were offered. So correct me if I'm wrong, 8, what is it, like how much they can get up to as scholarship?
So it wouldn't be 100%. Certainly at the postgraduate level, there's going to be availability for graduate assistantships that could cover, the entire cost. But for the undergraduate, Michael, can you fill me in on the numbers really quickly? I don't have them in front of me.
Yeah, no problem. So the numbers at the undergraduate level are $9,000 to $26,000 a year. Our average award last year was right around $19,000. That was our average award. So the top would be $26,000. Yeah, and Ed's correct. In general, we do not offer 100% scholarships. I'm not saying never, but it would really be a unique situation for us to be able to completely fund a student at Duquesne University 100%.
Yeah, and I believe at this point, many universities do not offer 100% at this point, but you could try. But here, we can get up to some amounts, like you just explained. Thanks for that. And so what are the criteria? Just if you could say something like if it is a GPA or like standardized test like SAT, or what is it like?
So the criteria for the scholarship?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sure. At the undergraduate level, like I said, we sort of look at, it's called merit-based, but it's really in actuality is a little more than merit-based. So we do look at the GPA. We'll look at whatever test scores are submitted, whether they be English language proficiency test scores, whether they're high school, national high school exit exam scores, or as I said, if the student happens to have an SAT or an ACT score, like if they went to an international school, for instance, we would urge them to go ahead and submit those. So we look at that on one hand. And then, as I said, we look a little bit more at the student holistically after that. We look at their extracurricular and volunteer activities. We'll look at their letters of recommendation and what those say about that student. And then finally, we look at that essay. I just can't impress upon you enough that please do not send us generic essays. It's very easy for us to pick those out. In fact, before I even read them, I can sort of tell when the university's bolded. I know oh, they're just cutting and pasting this. So, and like I said, and that's not just for my satisfaction. That's really for the student, because that's going to help the student. A more unique essay, completely focused at Duquesne, is going to increase their chances of admission and up their potential scholarship as well.
Great. So the minimum GPA would be 2.75, you said, for
at
admin?
the graduate level, 2.75. At the undergraduate level, you should feel comfortable sending us 2.5 and above.
2.5 and above. Okay, great. Thanks for that. Thanks, Dennis Butcher, for your question about scholarship. Hope that is helpful for you. If you got any follow-up questions, please feel free to ask us here. We got, okay. Next question here by Murari about 3 years bachelor degree, whether eligible to direct a master's program like MBA, social work, MIT.
Yep.
Related.
So yeah, we do accept a 3-year bachelor's degree. There will be a credential evaluation required of that, but it's not something that's beyond. It's something that we understand at Duquesne, both at the at the graduate level. We have sort of educated graduate programs about the 3-year degree, so there is an understanding there. However, they'll want a credential evaluation on that. And as I said, we do have a special arrangement with Spantran. Not that WES and ECE and these other companies are all good in their own right, but we do have a special agreement with Spantran where we think the cost is a little bit lower. We know the cost is a little bit lower, and the turnaround time is going to be a little bit faster.
Yeah, I trust you, and I completely agree on like Spantran's process and their costing as well. They are doing great, and then it's been easier working with Spantran and getting the evaluation process done quickly as we can. So yeah, thanks on highlighting those. So did you mean to say that you require that Spantran evaluation for every other programs, not just because you got 3 years bachelor degree, or because you got bachelors from other countries, let's say outside US?
Yeah, that's correct, Paul. Any undergraduate degree originating from outside the U.S. right now will require credential evaluation. That's a new policy. That's a policy that's just been instituted as of less than a month ago, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
It's across the board, and there's probably no turning back from it at this point.
Yeah, I think that helps anyway to the students. They gotta like over the time they gotta do this evaluation process. It's just not about admission into the universities, but that could be for other job perspective also, or immigration and all. There are so many purposes. So I think this should be helpful anyway. Thanks for highlighting those. Um, Thanks, Murari, about that question. Hope you got the answer here. Um, the idea about doing the evaluation for 3 years bachelor degree, because mostly the countries like US, they have like 4 years bachelor degree, so they need to just make sure 4 years bachelor degree versus 3 years bachelor degree. Like in Nepal, some programs are like 3 years bachelor only, and like in India mostly they have 3 years bachelor degree. So that could be a way to just figure out whether they meet the admission criteria. I mean academic curriculum, and help get through the process. So this is about that idea. So maybe let's say 120 credits required for undergrad label here in the United States. With your 3 years bachelor degree, you could have just done 96 or 100 credit hours. So you could be still requiring some more credit hours. That means could take like another 2 semester if you take 9 to 12 credits or even more. So this is the way how we should take it but again, the programs from India, some programs from Nepal, they're very strong, like in the UK, in these English speaking countries, or in Australia. They could have like 3 years bachelor degree, but again, they are very strong and similar to the US version. So this is all about making the equivalency in that way.
And to be honest, Pawan, just one final word. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Right.
yeah, just because a student submits a 3-year bachelor's degree, that does not necessarily mean they're going to have additional coursework to do.
All
That,
right.
yeah, that could be accepted just in full, and that student will move in just as if they had handed in a 4-year degree. So 3-year degree does not necessarily mean, oh, I'm going to have to take additional courses as I enter my graduate coursework.
Yeah. Thanks for correcting me if I just answered confused, right? But the Spontran, that helps either for getting directly into the master's program, but for the universities to know where they're at. Whether they need to go as a transfer student, or maybe for some other universities. But for like you just confirmed, this is not about having them to do some extra courses at Duquesne. Rather just doing it as a part of the process, and then getting them into the master's program. So this helps. All right. Thanks for that. And now I have next question here from Aro. Thanks, Aro, for this question. I'm not sure when he applied to, but he's still waiting for the application decision or something. So please help.
Okay, I'm writing the student's name down right now. So one thing I can tell, I'm not sure how the recommendation letter was uploaded, but usually recommendation letters have to come directly from the recommender, or they won't satisfy the checklist item, even though we'll have a copy of it that the applicant may be uploaded, and that could be the issue here. But as soon as we are done with this call, what I will do is I will look up that application, and I will reach out to Arab and let the applicant know what the status is.
Yeah, that's great. Dear Arab, hope you got your answer. But yes, we don't have all the detail. We don't have your details off our head right now. But like Michael just explained, you would just look into it, and then you would get the answer, and you would understand where you're at, and then you can proceed further. And at Bradford, you could just contact me, and should you need further help, we'd be happy for you as well. Thank you. Next question here by Rosen. Okay, I think we already touched that, and if the requirements. So anyone interested, to get, to give him an answer real quick about scholarship and the criteria, I guess, Rosen.
Would you like to go over it again one more time?
Oh, okay. Anyone, if you could just just talk a little bit.
I think a simple way just to answer this is that to be eligible for scholarships, you just need to apply.
Yep.
And if you satisfy all of the application requirements, you'll be considered for the scholarships that we went over.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. Thank you, Sarah.
And every international applicant will receive a scholarship, somewhere between $9,000 and $26,000, unless they're fully funded by their, government, such as the case is with like Saudi students, for instance.
Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
also in Central Europe. Okay, I mean Central Asia. All right, Rosen, it's all about first to make an application. If you got like 2.5 or higher, then you could be eligible for programs, and then they will make a decision. They will consider if you could be receiving, could be offered any scholarship amount. So first make an application, and it's a very automatic kind of basis, and you would get to see that amount as scholarship. All right, and yeah, we are here to help you. Just send through your application to us. Next here, okay. His follow-up question, I guess. We got like 5 more minutes here, and we expect our viewers asking some more questions, and then we plan to cover most of the things here with this session today. So, Rosen, you are interested in computer system technology or computer science? It is online, or can you attend in person?
So my answer to that question, Rosan, is that, obviously you can do any course online if you're going to remain in your home country. However, if you're planning on coming to the U.S. and you're going to be here on an F1 visa, online will not be a possibility for you. You must attend in-person classes. And even if we were to offer an online class, that you would just not be eligible to participate in that program because your F1 status would prohibit that.
Absolutely. Because and also it's not allowed, like in Nepal, even to travel outside the country for online program, or just doing online, and then maybe like you're doing graduation elsewhere. Online is not recognized, so to my knowledge. So yeah, you could come here for in person. I know the pandemic has changed a whole lot of things, but now all the mostly all the universities have come back to normal class, so that is in person, and Duquesne is one of them, and you could join them in person. All right, okay.
It's much more fun in person, Rosan.
Yeah, it's fun, taking classes and taking classes physically than just doing online. All right, it could be the last question here by Binu Karmachari. Thanks, Binu. Would love to know about Juris Doctor course, accreditation, any special entry requirement, and student can practice at all stage 2 completion of course. Requirement for someone with 5 years, completing last 5 years from Nepal. Juris Doctor, you got that program here?
We do have the Juris Doctor program, and the thing with the law school is we do not handle the admissions on that. So what I would urge Binu, what I would urge you to do is to send me a direct email regarding this program, and what I would do is I would forward that to our law school and put you in direct contact with their international admissions counselor there. So yeah, that would be, so that's my suggestion there. We have a law school. Our law school is outstanding here at Duquesne. In fact, the president of our university was previously the president of our law school.
Oh.
And we do have an international program. We have an international enrollment we have international enrollments in our law school. As far as the specifics go, I think you should talk directly to the law school about your situation and about your current degree, and see how that all works with them. But please feel free to reach out to me directly, or your counselor can reach out to me directly, and I'll be glad to put you in direct contact with somebody in the law school.
Great. Thanks, Michael, for offering that help. Thanks, Binu. yeah, like, the U.S. Embassy in Nepal now, like, taking the visa application for F1, that is a student visa. And we saw, the challenge in Nepal. So like many students were taking the interviews from India itself in last fall. So this time, like the U.S. Embassy in Nepal, the consulate, issuing more visa appointments. Please feel free, to ask us to reach out to us at Bradford and know about the available dates. We'll be happy to, book your appointments. And all our students who have received the I-20s through this session also, I would like to encourage you to apply sooner the better, because this January intake is just around the corner, and then it is going to be super busy, time for everybody. So at the embassy, so secure your dates as soon as you can. All right, and good luck. Let me see if there is any follow-up here. So last question could be here. By Amarjit S. Amar. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Amar. I have scored 5 and 5. Can I apply for master's program? Any conditional admission, you mean?
That student can, yes, Amarjit, you can apply to the graduate program with a 5.5, but it would have to be one of the 10 programs I pointed out. Remember, at the graduate level, we only have conditional admission in 10 programs. Now, those 10 programs that we offer are very much desired by international applicants. So, and I think that that's the reason they exist, is because those programs have high international enrollment. Scoring a 5.5, you should expect to spend 2 semesters in the conditional program. You would come out of that with a minimum of at least 6 credits of your graduate work done, and your English language proficiency would be waived upon satisfactory passing of the ESL coursework. We would not require to go out and get an IELTS and satisfy the 6.5 IELTS requirement.
Great. I think Amar, Zaid, you got your answer here. Please let us know if you have any further questions. Yeah, like even if you have less IELTS, then you still have a way. Because I don't find at many universities here, but they have pathway program, the gateway program. So that will prepare you to get into the main degree, though it is it itself is a degree, but they will have you in that integrated classes. Michael, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, great, thank you. So we're coming to the end of the program. So in the meantime, I would like to thank you all for joining me today and giving that wonderful informative session to our viewers and the future students at Duquesne. I'm sure we'll have many students choosing Duquesne in the future, and for beginning this spring as well. And we have applications which are being submitted this week. So we hope to see our students successful with their visas, and the most successful part would be their graduation from Duquesne in the future. So can't wait to see you guys. Dear students, please feel free to reach out to us, visit us, or just send us email or message, so we'll start your processing. By the way, do you charge any application fee, or what is the offer right now?
No application fee at the graduate or undergraduate level, so there's no need to wait.
Awesome. Yes, no application fee. Yes, we do not charge application fee while you're applying for Duquesne University. Thanks for this wonderful offer, Michael, Sarah, and Edward. Thanks for joining me. I hope it was a great session for you as well. By the way, a quick short message that you want to deliver to our future students watching us now or on the recorded version. What should they expect as an international student? I know we talked a lot, but just a quick message for them or advice that would be helpful.
Yeah, so I guess what I would say, I can lead it off, and then I'll let Edward and Sarah chime in. But yeah, I sometimes I wonder why students hesitate to apply when there's no application fee. The earlier you apply, you get on the radar. You get on the radar, especially at the graduate level, with specific, programs, and so that, yeah, apply early. There's no need to wait. Especially with a rolling admission policy. So what I tend to tell students, the real benefit of applying early, especially is that with rolling admissions, students with lesser qualifications will get in because they applied earlier than students with better qualifications who applied late. So it's really, it's advantageous to apply early. The gate's a little more open than when you get closer to the deadline.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed. I agree. And, keep in mind that Sarah and Mike are going to support you, every step of the way in terms of your application process. But, Pittsburgh is one of America's best kept secrets in a lot of ways, and the word is getting out. So, it's an incredibly diverse and amazing town. And we look forward to seeing you. And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Ed.
I think that my last word would be a school of our size really can offer the support that international students need. I was an international student, so I can say that from experience that, going to a huge school can be easy to get lost in the shuffle. And here it's really wonderful to be our size, to offer what we're able to offer academically and to be in the center of the city, but to still be able to have that touch point with the student that's more personal.
Absolutely. Thank you for all this wonderful advices, and this is really going to help. Yeah, apply sooner. Yeah, study at the best one with a small class size, but better opportunities. Next thing, the location itself, the place itself. I've been to very close city to Pittsburgh, but I'm here to travel visit your campus, but. I'm looking forward to seeing you there soon. I've been to the town Slippery Rock. I think I was just away from. 1 hour away from your city. From there, when I used to live in New Jersey, so I drove from New Jersey to Slippery Rock. That's where we used to work, and then. I know Pittsburgh. I could see okay, that's the Pittsburgh, but I didn't have a chance to go there. But I look forward to meeting you in person and take a tour and share with our future students. All right.
We welcome you to come. We always love when agents can visit us on campus. We think it gives them a better feel for the product, and I can guarantee you we'll show you a better time than in Pittsburgh than you had in Slippery Rock.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, dear viewers, I hope this was very informative for you. If you are graduate students, yes, this is a great university. Why? Because cost-wise also, see, it starts from 15,000, and you have scholarships, and then the programs are very unique, the health programs, biotechnology, and this MBA, everything is there. So you have a full package of programs. So you could be coming from any background, but this could be a great choice for you. So please do let us know. We are happy to help you. We at Bradford are very experienced counselors. Myself here, when you reach out to me for any help when you are here in the United States as well, I'd be happy to. And the universities that we work with, especially the university like Duquesne, they've been very supportive to our students. Thanks to their continued support to all our students and us. Yes, and for undergrad programs as well, the price point looks a bit, over the competition. But again, they have talked about the scholarship amount that could go up to 26,000 out of that yearly tuition. That means a greater chance to reduce down that price. But again, this price is not just everything. It's the quality, the degree recognition, the career support, the opportunities post studies, so post graduation. So that means of course there is a big difference between the universities here and everywhere. So Duquesne is one of that high quality, highly recognized, and a top-notch university located in very nice state here in the United States. So be a part of it, and we'd be happy to help you out. All right, with that said, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Aid. Thanks for your time. Namaste. And thank you, everybody. And I hope to see you next time on our next live session. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.